Hello and welcome back to Change Your Life. My name is Dwight Gillespie, and this is the Change Your Life YouTube channel. If you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe, hit the notification, and all that good stuff. We try to do things on this channel that give you some practical advice, some practical ideas about how to, basically how to live a better life. One of the things we do is we talk about books that I read. Walter, not so much. He likes a lot of good movies, though. Walter's a great producer, though. All right, everybody needs their strengths.
I wait for the script.
Yeah. Where's the movie? Did they make a movie? Anyway, that being said, today I want to talk about something, and we're going to take one particular piece of this. This is a book called The Daily Stoic. It's Daily Meditations. It's Ryan Holiday and Stephen Hanselman wrote this, and it's just 366 meditations on wisdom, perseverance, and the art of living from the Stoics, Epictetus and Seneca and all these good guys, Marcus Aurelius and stuff like that. And I wanted to talk about one in particular, and we could take a bunch. I mean, this is just a really good book, but this one was from February 23rd, and I really liked it. It says, you shouldn't give circumstances the power to rouse anger, for they don't care at all, right? And that's from Marcus Aurelius. And then they went on to say that circumstances are incapable of considering or caring for your feelings, your anxiety, or your excitement. They don't care about your reaction. They are not people. Stop acting like getting worked up is having an impact on a given situation. Situations don't care at all, and that's it. And I made my own, though, that facts don't care about your feelings. In point of fact, the less you react with your feelings, the more capable you will be to deal directly with the facts. And that's the truth. And I talk about Viktor Frankl and what he said, if you haven't read it, Man's Search for Meaning, one of my favorite books, where he talks about, they can take away everything from you except for one thing that nobody can ever take away, and that's your ability to react. And how you react means so much. And we live in a society today that is very determined to worry and be concerned about everybody's feelings, right? Everybody has to feel good. And often it's done to the detriment of the very people that they are saying that they want to help. And one of these things, and one of my favorite topics is always like fat phobia, right? And the funny thing is fat phobia, and I am fat phobic, and I make no bones about this. I was just reading something from Self magazine, I think it was, or one of those, Good Housekeeping, one of those. And they were talking about how these fat phobic people just want us dead. I don't want that. I don't want that at all. I've lost 100 pounds over the last 18 months. And the reason I say I am fat phobic is because fat was killing me. And this idea, you see, we want to protect people's feelings so much that we don't care about their health. And it's so funny. We have an opiate epidemic in this country right now. I had a very good friend, a good friend anyway, 2 weeks ago who died. He went smoking crack. And people that know me know I'm in recovery. I've been in recovery for over 10 years. I've been clean for over 10 years. He was smoking crack laced with fentanyl, and he died. Like he was comatose. He came out of the comas, and it weakened his heart. He had several heart attacks, and it killed him. And it's funny because we don't say, oh, people are fentanyl phobic. You're fentanyl phobic, and you're making these opiate addicts feel really bad about themselves. These meth heads that are smoking methamphetamine, boy, you're making them feel bad by pointing out how horrible methamphetamine is for you, how horrible fentanyl is for you, how horrible heroin is for you, how horrible alcohol is for you, right? You're making them feel bad. No, we're worried because these people are dying. But the funny thing is we look at fat phobia and we say, you're making them feel bad. Well, let me tell you something. Fat kills more people in this country than fentanyl does, all right? As many people as fentanyl kill, we don't even want to talk about it because we live in an obese society. And people are so wrapped up in this stuff now that you have I'm healthy at any rate. I saw this girl on Dr. Phil not too long ago, right? And you know how I love those shows, right? And she's basically telling Dr. Phil, for what, I don't know if he's MD or whatever, but he had MDs on there talking about what happens to you when you're overweight. And because you may not experience this when you're in your 20s or 30s, right? You're going to experience them in your 40s and your 50s like I did, right? whether it's bad joints, rheumatoid arthritis, heart disease, right? Hypertension, high cholesterol, like all of these things, fatty liver, all of these things that happen to us as we get older with obesity. And for some people, not even that old. Watch My 600-Pound Life, which is a great show if you want to see about addiction up close and personal, right? Watch My 600-Pound Life, and you'll see people who are literally eating themselves to death. And I remember getting in with this one young lady on Quora, right? Because I go on Quora a lot. And she was talking about, oh, yeah, you're healthy at any size. I said, well, what about 1,200 pounds? Are you healthy at 1,200 pounds? Well, no. I said, well, then there's a cutoff, right? But we are so concerned about feelings. And, you have to feel good. We want you to feel good, right? And when you worry about this and you cancel people who disagree with you, you're running a huge, huge risk, right? First of all, we live in a country where you're supposed to be able to say whatever you want, even if it's ignorant. And there was what was his name? George Lincoln Rockwell, who was defended by Kunstler, William Kunstler, right, with the ACLU. Now, George Lincoln Rockwell was a leader of the American Nazi Party, right, and he wanted a march, and I think it was in Skokie, Illinois, but I'm not sure. We can look that up later, right? Whatever. But Kunstler said that's his right. You have the right to see what a bigoted idiot this guy is. Right? If he wants to put that on full display, and isn't it better to know who this guy is? Right? You want to shut him up. You want to say he can't do this, he can't do that. Isn't it better to see it up front and personal? Right? Isn't it better to know who this guy is rather than making him do it with, like a hood or something like that? Ooh, But this whole idea that we are going to save everybody from ourselves. I always say, Walter, that this all started with seatbelt laws, right? That we have these laws that are designed to help protect us from ourselves. And to me, it just doesn't work out. Like murder, that's a good one, right? Like you can't commit murder. That's against the law. That's a good law, because it affects other people. It's the way you react to other people, right? And that's important. But when we started making laws to protect us from ourselves, how far is too far? Seatbelt laws. All right. Yeah. Okay. They're a good idea. I wear seatbelts, right? Seatbelt saved my life. Also, by the way, the doctor said it probably killed my son, but that's neither here nor there. It was a bad accident. We were talking about that too. My personal trainer, just an aside, my personal trainer said, have you ever been in a bad accident? I said, yeah, kind of. He goes, whoa, what was that like? I said, well, we rolled a couple of times. 2 people died. It was pretty brutal. He's like, oh, yeah, oh, God, that's right. I'm sorry. I forgot about that. I'm like, yeah, I didn't. So anyway, neither here nor there. But yeah, I've been in a bad accident. Walter, that's a sick over there, boy. Anyway, we'll beep that F word that I did. So, thank you, Walter. I appreciate that, right? Anything for a buddy. But this idea that we have to protect ourselves and that you can't, I saw a thing today, not today, I saw a couple of days ago, that trigger warnings are triggering young people. Like, there's going to be something in here I don't like. You need a trigger warning for this. We're about to warn you that we're going to warn you that something is bad in here.
Coddling.
And it's coddling. And I always go back to, it came from when we started giving out participation trophies and treating everybody as if, it was like you're trying your best. And I remember we did one on Einstein's, or they say it was Einstein, who said, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it'll spend its life thinking it's stupid. And instead of teaching that fish that it belongs in the ocean, now we're going, but it tried. It tried. It made it like 6 inches up the tree. It was so magnificent. Oh my God, did you see the effort that fish put in climbing that tree? And you're not letting that fish fail, and we talked about it, and it's just coddling. And it comes back to all this stuff. And I really bring it back to, I look at the fentanyl, and I can't help but come back to this, right? That like fat, we don't want people, listen, I got to tell you something. I feel better. I've lost a lot of weight. I used to cringe going past mirrors, and I used to give myself that same bullshit. Well, it's okay. It's my one wife. I'm only hurting myself. I'm okay. No, 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 no. See, because if a person's if your brother is an alcoholic, if your brother is a heroin addict or something, you would say something. Hopefully, right? Why don't you coddle those people? Why do we just coddle people with the fat? Why? Because so many of us suffer from it. I really think that that's a big reason behind it. We all understand it better. You see, and fat is something that you wear it. Like, I was in a 12-step meeting for a particular fellowship, and a guy came up and patted my stomach and and I was like livid. Like, how dare you? Don't touch me. And that is off limits, right? But people wear the fat because you wear it. So you don't wear a gambling problem, right? If I go to my 12-step meeting, which is, pretty much for drugs, right? And I got a gambling habit and I'm $50,000 in debt due to my gambling, people don't see that on me, right? And I think that's another reason that we look at fat shaming and fat phobia. And I don't believe in shaming anybody for how they look, but I also don't believe in coddling them into continuing with that behavior and saying that this is okay. And now we're going to have plus size models. That just says, well, we should just have, models, like that'd be we could do one of those fusion things for, like Ralph Lauren polo with hypodermic needles. Like, it'll be like a fusion ad because they all look like junkies anyway, right? But I think that'd be pretty good. But we don't do those things. What's this? But we allow this. We're okay with this. This woman, and God bless her, look, that's fine. If she's really happy, see, this is the thing I believe too. I think she tries to convince herself she's happy like this. I would bet anything that anytime she's with somebody, she constantly wonders why they're with her. Is it for the money or is it for her? You see, I've been there. Like, I know it. Like, it's not a myth. Like, I had a hard time walking around the block, and people like her age, at her age, is probably okay. What is she? Just in her 20s, maybe 30s, right? All right. So here it is. Let's see her in her 40s. Let's see her play the flute in her 40s, because it only gets worse. By the way, right? If you're that big at that age, 20 years from now, you could put another 50, 60 pounds on this woman. And that's death. Like, that's a death sentence. And that's what I don't get. And people are okay with letting this woman eat herself to death, because that's what happens. It's not a myth. Like, oh, you can be, that idea that you can be healthy at any size is a lie. It's a lie. And this woman is pushing the boundaries right now. And even at that, when you're young, you can get away with it. But your joints, everything, your back, your knees, your hips, all of these things suffer. And that's just a fact. That's just an absolute medical fact. A fact. And I'll get the comments, you don't understand. Yeah, okay. Talk to me when you're 45. Talk to me when you're 50. All right? And maybe you don't care if you live. Now you might say, well, I don't care if I live past. I'm living for today. That's another one I love. I'm living for today. Are you really?
So you start feeling it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And I remember I went on a beautiful trip to Utah, and my knee was so inflamed, right? I'm going to these beautiful places in Bryce Canyon, Zion, all of these places. Right? It was my first trip there, actually. I'm walking with a cane. Yeah, this is 10 years ago. I'm in better shape now, having lost the weight and getting physically fit, right? We finished the 75 hard. I still work out 5 days a week. I walk. I do these things, right? So I'm out in Zion. I can't do anything. I'm on these little, these little trails that are easy to walk and everything, because it was so debilitating from the weight. And losing that, and I had to get the knee replacement in the one knee. And fortunately, because I lost the weight, the other knee is in really good shape. It doesn't have that strain. I tell you what, you look at how overweight you are and try to lift that weight, right? I remember like the first 50 pounds I lost, and picking up the dumbbell at 50 pounds. I'm going, oh my God, like I was hauling this around. And it got to the 100, and I'm like, picking up on a barbell. Like, I put it on a barbell, and I'm like, man, it's 100 pounds. And I was lugging that around with me every day. How could I not think that this was having an effect on me? Because I didn't want to, it's only me. But again, Walter mentioned it before. He talked about enabling. When we enable people to do this, when we enable people to have these activities and to think this way, right? We enable it. They would talk about racism. We were talking. You see it when you see it everywhere, and we enable and we cancel, and you can't have any thought or anything like that. You can't express yourself because other people. It's not even just necessarily for us. We're going to worry about what other. Oh, this person might be offended. Well, are you? Not really, like, I don't know. And again, I said, well, I'd rather know, the better the devil I'd rather know how you feel about me rather than to have to keep it a secret, because those are the real dangerous people, right?
Carve that Nazi symbol right on your forehead.
Yeah, that was great. Inglorious Bastards, yeah. So anyway, so this is it, it's enabling people. We did a good one on enabling not too long ago as well, which also coincides with this. But it's very relevant to today. I do believe in being able to let people speak their minds without canceling everybody, right? We were talking, how did we bring up the news before? We were talking about that. Like, people just telling you what you want to hear. And again, I remember President Trump talking about fake news. It's all fake news. It's all fake. I don't give a rat's what you watch, right? It's all fake. It's all opinion. It's all we hate the other side. Anybody who disagrees with me, I hate. And it's not just that you're right. It's that you're right and the other people are evil for not agreeing with you. And I don't care if you're watching CNN, Fox, or whoever, MSNBC. It doesn't matter. I don't care. We're being taught to think that we are absolutely right. They are absolutely wrong. They are evil for it, and we need to cancel them and stop them from saying what they're saying because our fragile egos can't handle hearing, any dissenting opinions to what we believe. I mean, I used to consider myself a religious person, which I don't. I have a deep faith in God, but I don't consider myself religious, right? Because I found a true belief for myself. But I didn't want to hear any dissenting opinions, lest, you change my mind, then I'll wind up in hell. And who wants to go there? It sounds like a really bad place, so I didn't want to hear any dissenting opinions. It's ridiculous. If I truly believe what I'm saying, I don't have to worry about dissenting opinions swaying my decisions or anything. I have to keep open-minded about things. And how do I stay open-minded if I demand that you, with your dissenting opinion, shut the hell up and don't bring it here, that my feelings are more important than the truth. I've changed my opinion on a lot of things, and it didn't happen until I realized I didn't have all the answers, that I don't know everything, and that I have to remain open, right? In recovery, we call it the how of recovery, right? Honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness, right? That I have to remain open-minded. And you can't consider yourself an open-minded person. And I love that on both sides. You say, I'm open-minded. You're not open-minded if you insist that anyone with a dissenting opinion or something that might make you feel uncomfortable shuts up. You're not open-minded. You're as closed-minded as it gets. Right? You don't learn anything that way. We used to be a country in the U.S. that was built on negotiation, and we don't negotiate anymore. We've lost that ability. It's us against them. I remember reading a thing. It said that Congress has like an 85% disapproval rating and like an 80% retention rate, which tells you that our guy is right and yours is bad. So we keep voting the same people in, yet we hate them. Sounds a lot like my marriages. Anyway, that's a topic for another day. My name is Dwight Gillespie. This is the Change Your Life YouTube channel. I want to thank you for watching. I appreciate your time because time is the most precious thing we have. We'll do one on that too because I believe that if you spend your time with us, I really, really appreciate that because I know there are a lot of other things you could be doing, a lot of other things you could be watching. That being said, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell. By all means, comment. Tell me where I'm right and wrong. And I'm wrong a lot of times. I understand that. So, and some people think I'm wrong just because they don't like what I say. And I understand that too. Keep tuning in. My name is Dwight Gillespie. We'll see you next week. Thank you for tuning in. Be well.